Old Fashioned Football's NFL Week 3 preview on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for customers that are new. Just play $5 and you get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up using promo code OFFSGPN.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who to listen to, this is JMark. You can find me on the X at JMark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. Before I keep going, I got to introduce my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mir. Mark, how you doing today?
Doing okay.
You're recovering.
I am recovering.
Been sick again.
I have been.
This is weird that you have taken over the role of getting sick more often.
Just twice.
Yeah, that's 2 times that I haven't. That's
no,
2 times that I have not.
I am feeling better, but I have been on the phone all day at work, so I feel like my voice is getting a little bit. It's kind of leaving me.
You know what? The good news is, you got whiskey, and whiskey is like a cure-all, right?
Yeah. So where did you get the orange? You found oranges?
We had 1.5 left. Notice I gave you the 1. I have the half.
Okay.
Because that's how it goes. Shout out to the chat. NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Cody Zeeb saying, let's fucking go. Appreciate that. Jamie checking in. Hey, ladies, and good to see that big smile, Mur. And dropping in to tell you that in about an hour, I'll tell you how great you guys are, Jamie says. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate it. I was we're mirrored tonight. We are Hunter pointing out we are mirrored.
We fixed
tonight.
it. You can read the jerseys. You can read everything behind us.
Well, so what's weird is, I'm not a very techie guy. I don't know what happened. I think our camera updated settings and changed because in our program, I had to go in and unmirror it in this.
Yeah.
So it's like our camera just started mirroring on its own.
At least everything's legible. You can
Everything's
read it.
Legible.
And
yes.
Apparently I'm over there now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice last time.
We got Brian Scott reading the right way. Anthony Beck, make sure you hit me up. Hey, I gotta wish happy birthday. You hear that music every time the show starts, every time the show goes out. That was created by a good friend of ours, Paul Stevie. He turned the big 4-0 yesterday and spent today
He's getting
sick
up there.
as a dog. So yeah, happy birthday to Paul.
Everybody's sick. Like, there's just stuff going around. I got they tested me for everything on Monday. I was at the doctor Monday because I was doing really bad.
You were really bad then.
Everything came back negative. I'm blaming our nephew.
How dare you?
Well, kids are walking petri dishes.
This is
and
true.
They're back in school, and we happened to be with them. And the next day he had a fever, and what do you know?
Yeah, that is true. Just a reminder, we're previewing week 3, and we're going to be talking some, just kind of recapping week 2, what happened, a little preview of week 3, going to give out our best bets, which, by the way, went 12-5 on the bets that I gave out on week 2's preview. So that's winning money. I know it's not a perfect record. I get it. We want the perfect record, but that's pretty hard to achieve. We also hit the bottle lock bet. We made some cash.
You were like, we hit it.
We hit it. Finally, we got one. So hopefully you tailed that. We're going to continue to build the bottle. I know we were going to, give you guys the option. Do we cash out and get now we're at $40, a $40 bottle?
We're going to do polls. You got to put a poll out there on.
Well, I did
on
not
the X
but I've already created the bet for stage 2 of our bottle.
We're not going to cash out on the first one. You're not going to get a good bottle of whiskey for $40.
We're part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network.
You got to build it a little. Let it ride.
Let it ride. But yeah, and then we're going to hit on just we're not doing in-depth fantasy analysis this year, but we are going to name some people that it's like, hey, obviously start this guy or throw this guy in a flex,
Be
or
cautious.
be cautious.
Sit this guy.
That's right. But anyway, speaking
Mhm.
of, and good evening, Wesley, and let's go Channing getting his first fantasy football win ever. That sounds dramatic. It's his first league too, and it's only week 2, so 1-1. But let's go. He says, "Cheers with the whiskey glass." Which, speaking of, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking Dead Guy Ale whiskey. It's their single malt whiskey.
Yeah, more on that. I'm excited to talk about it. Before we keep going, make sure you check out the SGPN app in your app store for easy access to all of our free picks and props. Can find our show there. And yeah, Cody asking what the most expensive bottle out there is. Let's shoot for the moon.
Pappy.
And say, I'm sure some scotches can probably
they're Scotch. They're 20,000. We had Brian Nolt on the show, and
Yeah.
he bought a $20,000 bottle of Scotch in Scotland. I don't think we're gonna let it ride that far.
Yeah. But like a Pappy Van Winkle, those are.
I don't even think I could. I could
They're
not
like
part with
$7,000
$20,000 on
for liquid.
one bottle.
Better
I
be
couldn't do
liquid
it.
Gold.
If we get our bottleneck bets up that high, I'm sorry, people. I'm vetoing.
We're
We're
just towards our mortgage or something, okay? We'll buy a nice bottle with it, just not a $20,000
No.
biddle. Biddle. I just said biddle
Biddle.
instead of bottle because Wesley says, "Let's go Bills tonight," and I was reading that and
translates to biddle.
Translates to biddle. I agree. Let's go Bills. I'm a Josh Allen fan, even though I'm a Bears fan. I want them to win the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, Cody. He has Cody from the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Always has some things to say about that as a Patriots fan. Let's go over some of these injuries.
The big one. Let's start with the big one, which is Joe Burrow. He's out at least 3 months with torn tendons in his toe. They called it turf toe, but that sounds. I'm sorry. I'm about to ruin this.
No, you're good. They called it turf toe, but
it's a downplay.
It is like turf toe doesn't sound serious, but the way he has turf toe, it's very serious.
It's very. So that kind of translates to him being out pretty much the entire season. He might come back sometime in December.
Yeah.
You're going to have to keep covering injuries for a second.
No, you're good. Let's talk about that for a little bit, though, because I know everybody's like, whoa, Joe Burrow's out. I spent the number 1 pick on Jamar Chase or the number 2 pick. How's that going to go? Well, Jake Browning's going to be filling in for him. And he filled in for Joe Burrow in 2023 from week 12 on. So we do have some data on that. For Jamar Chase in 2023, he was averaging 15.42 points with Joe Burrow. That did drop down to 9.75 with Browning. So took a little step down there, but he did still have some good games. Now, T. Higgins, it's harder to gauge. You going to make it over there?
I don't know.
Drink some whiskey. It'll help. It's harder to gauge for T. Higgins because he was also dealing with injuries in 2023, as he always does, which is why I always avoid him. However, on the games he played with Burrow, he had 9.7 fantasy points per game in a half PPR league, that is, by the way, and 11.6 with Browning. So he actually kind of got a little bit of a bump. So, and then the other thing, I've seen a lot of people like, what do we do with Chase Brown? Is he cooked? I mean, because everybody will focus on him. If you watch that game, Browning threw for like 241 yards after Burrow got hurt. He can throw the ball. So I don't think you have to be worried about that. There's not a lot of comparison in 2023 because Brown was on limited snaps then. They had not turned the backfield over to him, and he was still in that split with Samaje Perine.
So I feel like the takeaway there is downgrade Chase a little.
Yeah. I
expect Browning to be a little better and maybe a little more prepared this year.
Yeah.
T. Higgins should average about the same. I don't think I'm worried about Chase Brown.
No, Chase Brown's a stud. He hasn't been running the ball great this year, I guess, but I'm not doubting Chase Brown right now.
No.
So
I will pick this back up.
You gonna make it?
I am gonna make it.
All right.
We've also got JJ McCarthy. He's out at least 2 to 4 weeks. He has a high ankle sprain. That means Carson Wentz is the backup.
Guy just never goes away.
But hear me out though. Like, I don't think that this affects the pass catchers because they already weren't putting up points.
That's true.
So can it get worse?
No.
I mean, it can. It can always get worse.
Yeah, I guess dangerous question.
But I think we're okay.
Yeah. Vikings have a slew of injuries.
They do. Aaron Jones is placed on
Yeah.
IR with a hamstring injury, meaning that's a minimum of 4 weeks that he's out.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason isn't the backup anymore. He is the leader of the backfield and carries. And I just expect him to get more work. Hopefully, listen to us when we said to draft him.
Yeah.
I got some shares of him, been starting him.
Me too. And in fact, in one league, I drafted both of them, so I could kind of wait to see it play out. But I did expect the Mason to be the leader of that backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Waddle, questionable tonight, but I am seeing he's active. He's been dealing with that shoulder injury since week 1. The team's a mess anyway, so hopefully you don't have to rely on him against the Bills. But other injuries, Justin Fields, our guy, he's out with a concussion. That is the risk with a guy that runs the ball a lot. Baker corrected me. He reached out to me personally and corrected me.
Of course.
T-Rod, Tarod. Tarod. Sorry, not T-Rod.
T-Rod?
Not T-Rod. And not Tyrod. It's Tarod. Tarod Taylor.
I like T-Rod.
Well, we used to call him Ty God too, but that would have been to God now. Tarod Taylor will fill in for him. I'm downgrading Garrett Wilson. He's a stud, yes, but I don't know if Tarod Taylor has T-Rod. I don't know if he's got enough to stretch the field with Wilson. And of course, Fields and Wilson had a hot start because they already had their OChem from college.
God, I can't get away from the OChem.
No.
All right. We've also got Brock Purdy. He's questionable with turf toe and a shoulder injury, not as serious of turf toe. He doesn't need surgery.
No.
I doubt he plays, though. They originally said he was going to be out like 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I don't trust Kyle Shanahan when it comes to injuries. So him saying, well, he might play this week, fuck off. He will not.
Then we've got Austin Eckler. He tore his Achilles. He's out for the year. And we're waiting to hear more on Jaden Daniels, aren't we?
Yeah.
He's listed as questionable, and he has not practiced this week.
Right. The Austin Eckler one's kind of sad because at his age, you got to wonder.
Like, it's done, right?
Back?
Isn't he 30?
I think
31.
I think he's older than 30.
He's 31 then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's a hard one. So shout out to the chat. Mark saying having dinner with Guy Fieri, so can't participate. Well, that's exciting.
That is.
Brock Hard Purdy Channing says, and I know a guy that can get behind that, and that's Nick Fortune, who has a Brock Hard Purdy shirt. But he wants to know if I sang Soft Kitty to you to make you feel better yet.
No, please don't.
I was going to say, I don't think it makes you feel. Are you insinuating I'm a bad singer?
No, of course not.
Just don't like that song, I think.
We don't need to sing Soft Kitty.
All right, we're going to do our week 3 preview, but before we do, got to let you know that we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Your home for NFL and college football, and of course, CFL. MyBookie's $100,000 NFL Super Contest is only a $15 entry. They accept customers from a ton of different locations, easy deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. Go take the Montreal Alouettes. They're 6.5-point favorites right now. Go put your cold, hard cash on that because Toronto is starting Jake Doege, I think is how they say it, but I call him Dogecoin. Jake Dogecoin, and Dogecoin did drop this week a little bit. I know there's a little bit of a rise, but I think that will translate to how Toronto's going to do. Just head over to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit or 100% bet back bonus up to $500. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sport prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. And the best thing is they're available in 35 plus states, including California, Texas, Iowa. I mean, this is probably the only thing that California and Texas and Iowa can all agree on. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. That's $50 for just spending $5. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back. Guy Fieri said hi and has some fantasy football questions for you. Tell him to drop them in the chat. What were you gonna add?
I was gonna say, like, being sick, I have lost like my sense of time is just so off because I've slept so much. I've been sleeping all hours of the day.
I know where you're going with this. I think
my leagues.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, I forgot it was Thursday. even though because we do our pods on Wednesday, and we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we have a pod tonight. We had to move that, like being sick.
Yeah.
Okay. So I forgot it was Thursday. I also have been on work has been crazy trying to catch up. I haven't set my lineups. I'm trying to set them right now to make sure, checking for Thursday players because I forgot it's freaking Thursday. And then I'm sleeping for days at the beginning of the week and I forgot my waivers. But I redeemed myself, I think, last night with some waivers in the chopper. I'm 56% safe. It's scary.
I did wake up. That is scary. Yeah. The head to the Choppa League that Cody Zeeb, the NASCAR gambling podcast that was in the chat here, runs. I woke up and on Wednesday mornings, it's funny. I wake up and the first thing I do is check waivers.
Yeah,
I'm like, who did I get?
Why wouldn't you?
And in chopped leagues, I think this is my third year in them, or at least it's our third. It's our third year.
We started together.
Okay, so it's our third year. I am never aggressive when it comes to the waiver wire because I like to keep my monies, and I'm always out by week 4 or 5.
You gotta blow your fab if you want to survive.
Not your wad. So I ended up getting 2 people. So I'm like, oh, I got that, and I noticed you had placed no bids, and then I thought, oh shit.
I was sleeping and had no idea what day it was,
and I felt really bad. I'm like,
it's not your responsibility to tell me when I
still felt bad because I could have dropped a just remember waivers, but I didn't.
Tuesday night I'm always before bed Tuesday night I'm always double checking my waivers, going through, just checking everything one more time,
pricing, all that stuff.
And obviously I didn't set any waivers because I've been dead. So
yeah. All right, let's do our 2-minute drill. And Cody pointing out, you do got to blow the wad in the chopped leagues. And I did that. I got 2 players. Now one of them is questionable. I'm not excited about
you didn't do the trade. Did you do the trade?
I didn't do the trade. That's an interesting thing. I'll bring that up since Cody's in here.
I may have threatened your life, but it is also your team to manage.
So the person that was, he no longer is, I don't think, but was projected to finish last. He slept on waivers too, I believe. I noticed he put no bids in either. No bids.
Yeah. Maybe he was dead. Maybe he was sick too.
He could have been. I got Nico Collins for $333, I believe it was. And he offered me a trade, Nico, for $450. And I was like, that's tempting. I get a guy and immediately make profit off of him. But I decided not to do it.
Let's put me at the bottom of the chopper. Let's get me chopped. I usually make it way farther than this, but fine.
That's not why I didn't do it, but I did think about that
I'm
at least.
A few places ahead of the bottom, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. I'm not safe. 56% safe is not safe.
Well, and I'm I think I'm third right now. I'm projected the third most points. I could finish the last because I could
picking up Nico.
I got Nico and Emeka Egbuka, though he is questionable. I think he'll play. But anyways, we're going to get to the 2-minute drill.
2-minute drills. I got to prep myself for this.
There you go.
You can do it.
You can do it. So just a reminder, or if you're new to the show, this is 2 minutes on each game. We're going to be recapping week 2, doing a little preview of week 3. I'm going to give out my best bets. Miranda's going to give you some fantasy advice. And then, we're going to try to make it through each game in 2 minutes. So I'm going to kick us off with the Dolphins at the Bills, which is tonight. The Bills are 12.5-point favorites. The Dolphins are 0-2. They head to Buffalo to the 2-0 Bills. Last week, the Bills did beat the Jets 30-10 in a game that it really was just a James Cook game. I mean, Josh Allen only threw for 148 yards. Now, he did run for 59, but Cook was a star. He had 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. The receivers weren't targeted as much, but the tight ends were. Dalton Kincaid had 6 targets. Dawson Knox had 5. It was nice to see Knox get more involved. Now, flipping over to the Dolphins, their offense looked a little better in their 33-27 loss to the Patriots. Go Patriots, Cody. Tua threw for 315 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The surprising thing, Devon Chan only ran 11 times for 30 yards. That's a 2.7 average. That is not good.
It is bad.
However, he did have 10 targets and caught 8 of those for 92 yards and a touchdown. So he did redeem himself there. Tyreek Hill finally looked like a little bit of
He's never going to be his old self.
He won't. But he looked a little bit of it. 6 passes for 109 yards or 6 catches. Waddle also had 5 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. For best bets for this one, I already mentioned Cook being a stud. He ran for a long of 44. He had a 44-yard run last week.
He had a 44 long.
Dolphins
44 long what?
The Dolphins defense has been a mess. And I'm going to bring this bet up again on our bottle lock bets, but get it in now because the game starts in less than an hour. This is a lock. James Cook, longest rush over 14.5 yards. Easy money.
For fantasy, the obvious studs are Josh Allen and James Cook. They continue to get Dalton Kincaid targeted a lot. So I do like him as well. And for the Dolphins, the Bills have held to an average of 62.6 yards per game in the last 5 games. He's had a couple pop over just 80 yards, but I feel like you have to temper your expectations. I don't think you can afford to sit him though.
Yeah, no,
if you have him.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we've got the Packers versus the Browns. This is a matchup. It only happens every 4 years, and the Packers are heading to Cleveland. The Packers are the 8.5-point favorites. Mm-hmm. They're coming off of a 27-18 win that was very convincing. Jordan Love threw for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had Josh Jacobs, who added 84 rushing yards for a touchdown. But the stud of the day was Tucker Kraft, who had 6 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And looking at the Browns, they're coming off of a 41-17 loss. Joe Flacco threw for 200 yards and a touchdown. He also had an interception. There's not a ton of positive things to say about the Browns except rookie Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins.
That's the one.
that's him. He made his debut now that all of his legal issues have subsided, and he had 10 carries for 61 yards. That's a 6.1 yard average. So I guess that was at least encouraging to see.
Yeah, for sure. This is the game's a weird spread. Mm-hmm. Because to me, it really feels like the type of game where the Packers will approach it as a, let's get in there, let's get out of there. We're not going to run up the score. We're going to kind of just control the clock. So I feel like maybe the Browns cover. So I'm not betting that. I'm betting Tucker Kraft over 50.5 receiving yards. I mean, he has been Jordan Love's favorite guy.
Yeah. This is also just a weird game for fantasy football because I think you start Josh Jacobs, you start Tucker Kraft, but beyond that, I mean, Quinshon Judkins was encouraging to see, but the Packers held the Commanders to a 2.7 yards per carry average.
Yeah.
So that makes me nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. And breaking news, I am hearing that Tucker Kraft may have suffered a knee injury in practice today.
What?
No word on if it's serious or not, if he's going to miss time, just that he did that. That would obviously affect bets.
That would absolutely.
And, I wouldn't leave him. If he plays, I'm not leaving him on my bench like I did last week. That pissed me off. And I lost by enough points that he would have made up for me.
That sucks.
That does suck. That was in the family league against your mother. Anyways, the next game is the Colts at the Titans. They're hitting the road as 4.5-point road favorites. Dan Jones, Dan the fucking man. And the Colts, they snuck out a very controversial win against the Broncos last week. If you missed it, they go for a last-second 60-yard field goal, and they miss the field goal. But then the refs say, oh, no, the Broncos elevated a player as they were trying to block it. Let's tack on a 15-yard penalty. And then he made the 45-yarder. So I thought it was a bogus penalty, but it is what it is. Jones had 316 passing yards and a touchdown, but it was Jonathan Taylor who stood out. He ran the ball 25 times for 165 yards. And people on the offseason were worried about him. Get out of here. Tyler Warren continues to be a really good rookie tight end and a target machine. He had 7 targets, 4 catches, 79 yards. Josh Downs was another favorite target, having 8 catches, 8 targets, 6 catches, and 51 yards. Mm-hmm. By the way, shout out to Hunter, who is tracking our CeeDee Lamb versus Michael Pittman contest here, and CeeDee Lamb is winning currently, but it's close. The Titans, switching over to them, lost 33-19 to the Rams, where they did a decent job containing Kyren Williams, but couldn't slow the passing game. Cam Ward did look a little bit better, but still has some growth to do. If the Titans can slow Jonathan Taylor down, they have a chance at hanging around in this game. And then the continued emergence of rookie wide receiver Elick Ayomanor was seen as he was targeted 6 times, catching 4 for 56 yards and a touchdown. This Colts team, they let the Broncos run for 117 yards. 76 of that was to J.K. Dobbins. So my best bet, the Titans are going to continue to focus on the run. Tony Pollard had 20 carries last week. He's going to have a 15 to 20 this week. I like him to go over 68.5 rushing yards.
I think I like that. I can get behind that, Justin. You looking at, Pollard, JT, Tyler Warren, those are your studs for fantasy. Dan Jones was still only rostered in 35% of sleeper leagues before this week. I didn't check today, but I was monitoring that situation because he's finished as QB3, QB7, depending on your league scoring, of course. Don't want to get yelled at. I think he's starter worthy for now. And Alec Ayamanor, I think he's also flex worthy. Those are my fantasy targets for this matchup.
Averaging 6.5 targets. Why not?
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we got Bengals at the Vikings. This is a gross game where Jake Browning and the Bengals take on Carson Wentz and the Vikings. The Bengals, they squeaked out a 31-27 win last week, even after Joe Burrow went down. Jake Browning helped them win the game. He threw for 241 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 3 interceptions. Let's not forget that.
Tried to give the game away.
Tried to. Chase Brown only ran for 47 yards, but this was the Jamar Chase show with 14 catches for 165 yards and a touchdown. They couldn't stop him, and I'm really not sure the Vikings can either, which, speaking of them, they got embarrassed 22-6 by the Falcons in Minnesota. I'm not sure why we couldn't have that Vikings team show up against the Bears, but yeah, it would have made things better for us.
Just a little bit.
They really didn't have many good stats. You had Jefferson, who had 81 yards, but only 3 catches. McCarthy threw for 2 picks, and then Jordan Mason led the backfield, but only for 30 yards. This team they looked like a mess.
They did. I mean, and this is another tough one to bet, in my opinion. But I do think the wrong team is favored. I don't believe Carson Wentz can suddenly bring back his career back and be that guy. McCarthy looked uncomfortable in the pocket last week. Wentz is going to be very uncomfortable. He's less mobile. Browning has shown that he can win with the Bengals in the past. So I think they have the better offense overall anyways. Give me the Bengals +3. By the way, you mentioned Jamar Chase did great for me in the Scott Fish Bowl. That was like 60 points.
Nice. With that, you have to start Chase. You have to start Jefferson, Brown, likely Mason. The guy here that I'm a little worried about is TJ Hawkinson. He had just 1 catch for 12 yards last week and only 3 catches for 15 yards the week before. It certainly seems like this offense isn't at a point where they're allowing him to, stretch the field any. And the Bengals defense, they just held the Jags tight end Brenton Strange to 17 yards last week. So I really think that you've got to still sit Hawkinson if you aren't already.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Shout out to the chat. Hunter says, hopefully CD puts up a goose egg this week against the Bears. I hope so too, but I somehow doubt it. I'm so out on these Bears right now. The next game up is the Steelers is 1.5 point favorites against Cody's Patriots. They're road favorites, and last week they got pushed around by the Seahawks, losing 31-17. Rodgers looked like the Rodgers I thought he was coming into the season. He was immobile.
He was who we thought he was.
He was immobile. No deep arm left in him. He was sacked 3 times. He looked uncomfortable. He threw 3 interceptions. That's the Rodgers I expected to be leading the Steelers. And the Patriots now coming off a win against the Dolphins 33-27. I expect their defense to be better under Mike Vrabel. I think they will be. But Drake May, shout out to him, threw for 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Ramondre Stevenson, 54 rushing yards and 88 receiving yards. I still don't think they're using Tre'Veon Henderson enough, but Ramondre looked good. And then Kayshon Boutte rewarded all those who picked him up on their waivers with a touchdown, though it was just 1 catch on 1 target for 16 yards.
Just the one.
But he got the touchdown.
He got it in, though.
Yeah. For the best bet in this game, I'm a Rodgers hater. And after week 1, though, I said, well, maybe he's back and rejuvenated and looked good, but it only took 1 game of pressure for me to come back down to earth and say, what the fuck are you talking about, Justin? This is Rodgers. This Patriots defense just sacked 2 of 5 times. They're going to pressure Rodgers. They're going to make him uncomfortable. Give me the Patriots on the money line. They're +110. That's for our buddy Cody Z. Patriots are winning this game. Fuck Rodgers.
Jesus. All right. Ramondre Stevenson, he showed some nice skills running and catching the ball, and I think you can start him this week with some confidence that he's going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And you've got Jaylen Warren. He bailed out Rodgers a lot, so
he did.
I feel like he might be a must start as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
All right, now we've got Rams at the Eagles. This is a rematch of the playoff game from last year. The Rams, they're hitting the road to face off against the Eagles, who are the 3.5-point favorites. Last week, the Eagles won the Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs, where the Chiefs actually taunted Ertz as the clock ran out, saying he barely threw for 100 yards. He had 101 yards, people. But, he said, shut the F up. We won the game, which, I agree with Ertz. I mean, who taunts someone when you're losing? It's definitely just an odd decision.
That's weird.
It's weird. Barkley ran for 88 yards and a touchdown. Ertz only 15 rushing yards, but he did have a touchdown. Then you have AJ Brown, who had 8 targets. He caught 5 of those for 27 yards. Ouch. Okay. The Rams, they beat the Titans 33-19 with Stafford throwing for almost 300 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and an interception. Kyren Williams had 66 rushing yards. Devontae Adams was targeted 13 times, including 5 of those targets were in the end zone.
That's crazy.
He finished with 106 yards and a touchdown.
It's reminiscent of the Stafford and Calvin Johnson days where he's like, there's my big receiver. I'm just going to throw it to him.
Target him.
Yeah.
Too bad he didn't catch more of those.
Right. I think the Rams are a really good team, but I don't think they're a team on the level of the Eagles. I mean, if you look at who they beat compared to who the Eagles have beaten so far, it's not the same competition. Now, situationally, coming off of a Chiefs rematch, it's a big game. The Eagles had a lot to prove. They could be a little vulnerable, but this team really seems hyper-focused. And then the other thing is the Rams are not great at the linebacker position and tackling. They're one of the worst tackling teams at the linebacker position. So this could be a day where Barkley just keeps getting fed and fed and fed. Give me the Eagles to win this one by more than 3.5. They've won the last 3 against the Rams, 28-22, 37-20, and 23-14.
This is a game where you start your studs. There won't be many surprises, in my opinion. I do worry about AJ Brown because, like you said, the Rams are more vulnerable against the run rather than the pass. So the Eagles will likely lean on the run game. But at the same time, in week 3, you can't bench Brown just yet.
No.
You've likely spent like a second rounder on him.
I did.
So it's been painful. Like I have him in multiple leagues and I'm starting him and he's sucking for me and it's painful. Devontae Adams, he's a must start with the target share that he's getting alongside Puka.
Yeah.
That's my other one there.
Real quick before we move on, the AJ Brown thing. I drafted my team name is What Can Brown Do For You? Because I drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then on the way back I got AJ Brown. So thankfully Amon-Ra scored 3 touchdowns against the Bears because AJ Brown again didn't do much.
That's on my to-do list. I actually wrote it on my to-do list because I used to I got so into the team names for fantasy, and then in Sleeper I'm just Mermark and like everything.
Mermark.
I know, and it's like I'm so lame. Where are my team names? Because I used to get so into that, and I just haven't had. Like time is just not on my side lately.
Yeah, I hear you.
I gotta make a comeback.
You gotta make a comeback. I do have some of mine that like my team name is the same as last year, and I don't have the same players, so I need to change that.
Yeah, well, I'm Queen of the Hill in one of our leagues because I always would target Tyreek Hill, and I haven't had a Hill in a couple of years, so it's like I'm sure Queen of the Hill.
Shout out to Jamie. JMark and Mir are must starts in all formats. Oh. What a sweetheart. Finally got all his 35 lineups set. He's in competition with Cody for the most lineups. And then Channing, Cook longest rush bet placed and secured. Let's ride. Hopefully we get that one. I feel pretty good about it though.
I am nowhere near the 30. What was it? 35?
35. Yeah.
15. I don't want to do more than 15. Just count me out. Like it's like a mad stress scramble. They're like, oh my gosh, double check everything. And I'm always double checking. And then I get to a point where it's like, it is what it is. Yeah. Like they will just let my teams perform.
And this girl wants to make a trade in Jamie's league, in a single quarterback league. My Penix hurts for neighbor's booty. Epic team name. Let's go on to the next game here where the Jets go to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucks. Bucks are 7-point favorites, and we're going to see T-Rod or
I like T-Rod.
T-Rod, yeah.
I'm creating my own name for him.
T-Rod.
T-Rod.
Since Fields is out, he's going to take on the Bucs, where Baker's missing 3 of his offensive linemen. We talked about how the Jets already lost to the Bills. The Bucs are coming off of a comeback win over the Texans, where they won 2019. And watching this game, I mean, Baker's just so fiery. It's hard not to root for him. He's a true football guy. He's tough. He doesn't do this flopping shit that you see some other quarterbacks do. He gets in the faces of defenders. I mean, his knee looked hurt, and then he got in the face of somebody. And they asked him about that, and they said, "What was that about?" And he said, "We don't take shit from anybody. We don't take no shit." He's just a badass. And when you look at like how his career has gone, it's just really hard not to root for him. Anyways, look at the stats from week 2. I'll digress from that. Fields led the team in rushing.
Everybody needs to know that I got a lecture on his career. I got the whole, yes, I know, Justin. But no, you continued to give me the whole backstory.
Well, it was impressive. Anyways, Fields led the team, the Jets, rushing with 49 yards before he got injured. Breece Hall only had 29 yards after his big week 1. This team's potentially going to struggle with T-Rod at the helm. They need Breece to step up, but the Bucs are good at stopping the run. So that could be a tough matchup for him. And for the best bet, I'm all over the Bucs. I think it's one of my survivor picks. Check out the article I did on Sports Gambling Podcast on a survivor pick for your survivor pools. I like the Bucs, but give me Baker and the boys -7. They're gonna crush this team. I don't care about their offensive line issues.
This is kind of a tough one for fantasy because, like you just said, Hall should step up to help the offense, but the Bucs are good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
Although I don't think you can bench Breece Hall right now, so I'm sticking with the start your studs. We're just in week 3. Emeka Egbuka, if you aren't starting him yet, like, what's wrong with you? Start him because it really does seem like Baker loves throwing the ball to this guy.
3 touchdowns through 2 weeks, so absolutely. We're going to
stats support it.
They do. We're going to talk about the rest of the morning or early games, morning if you're on the West Coast, I guess. And then we're going to talk about the late ones as well. But before we do, Miranda, why don't you let everybody know a little bit about Underdog Fantasy?
Of course, because we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. Available for a ton of sports. And keep following our socials as Justin is releasing CFL Underdog plays, and we'll get some NFL action going as well. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code OFFSGPN.
We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Speaking of Baker, if you're on YouTube, you see his pretty face there. Rhythm is off to a great start in college football and the NFL, and they've introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. That's all you got to do, and you can win a prize. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. All right.
I might finish this old fashioned for the first time in a show.
Yeah.
I know I've always said I have to keep drinking. It's like, my gosh.
Your throat, or you like it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Is that answer
we
you're
won't do
looking
the
for?
score yet, but
no, because I have to keep. I feel like I've done it before on the show, and it's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. Where you get that itch at the back of your throat, and then you're just full on coughing meltdown. My eyes just start pouring water, and
your eyes just start pouring water.
Yeah.
Wow.
That happens.
That sounds very dramatic.
It is very dramatic. It feels dramatic when it's happening. You can't control it.
Yeah, the worst time that's ever happened to me is at a movie theater. When I think I had like swallowed something wrong, popcorn or something probably, but I'm like, and it's like, I'm not sick, I swear.
Was this pre or post COVID?
This was post-COVID.
It was post.
Yeah, of course. So I actually remember I left the theater to hack and cough a little bit.
Bye.
Yeah. I know.
Good luck with your situation.
Right. But I just couldn't get my throat cleared. So anyways, worst time. We've been a little bit failing at our 2-minute drill.
I've been noticing. Pick it up.
We're going to pick it up because we still got early games to cover.
Yeah.
So, all right.
We've got the Raiders at the Commanders. The Raiders and the Commanders face off in Washington for it's a long travel for the Raiders after a late Monday night game. Commanders are 3.5-point favorites coming off of some extended rest after playing the Thursday night game where they lost to the Packers 27-18.
True.
The Commanders couldn't run the ball, but Jaden Daniels did throw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. He spread the ball out to Ertz, McLaurin, and Debo. Each of them had at least 5 catches for 44 yards, and Ertz and Debo both scored a touchdown. The Raiders, they're also coming off of a loss in the late Monday night game against the Chargers. Geno Smith had a bad game throwing 3 interceptions. Ashton Genty had 11 carries for 43 yards, and the Raiders' top receiver was Jacoby Myers, who caught 6 of his 12 targets for 68 yards.
And you brought up the most important thing here. Raiders on a short rest against the Commanders on a long rest, and Raiders have to travel all the way across the country as I hit the wall next to me. Give me the Commanders to dominate this game and cover the 3.5 points if Jaden Daniels plays. They say he's questionable. I do think he plays.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, he takes over as the top back with Eckler out, but they haven't run the ball very well. And with that, I'm not trusting him in my lineup until I see it on the field, especially after the Raiders held the Chargers running backs to it was just 52 yards.
Yeah.
So I am trusting Zach Ertz, though, because he's been a top target of Jaden Daniels. And for the Raiders, Brock Bowers, I think he should be healthier this week. And then maybe, get back towards regular production. Jacoby Myers, I feel like he's also a target machine that you're going to have to keep in your lineup.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Besides the Bucks, who else you like in the Survivor this week? You're going to have to check out my article, Hunter. But I also like the Cardinals, if I'm throwing that out there. And the Bills are a great pick because I think they're going to crush the Dolphins if you want to use your Bills this early. Next up, we've got the Falcons at the Panthers. Falcons are 5.5-point road favorites against the Panthers. After coming off that nice 22-6 win over the Vikings where they leaned on Bijan Robinson, he ran for 143 yards. On 22,
he sure did.
He did on 22 carries. In fact, the Falcons were dominant on the ground because Tyler Algier added 16 carries for 76 yards. Michael Penix only threw for 135 yards, but it's really all they needed him to do as the defense put them in good positions. They made a ton of field goals, and they got out of there with the win. Now, the Panthers, they lost 27-22, but I was kind of encouraged by their effort. They started slow. Going into halftime, they were down 20-3, but they rallied back with 13 fourth-quarter points, and they were in position to potentially drive down the field for a game-winning touchdown at the end, but on the 4th down, Bryce Young did get sacked. Speaking of Bryce Young, he threw for 328 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to Hunter Renfrow, and they still can't run the ball. For the best bet, I don't know if this Falcons team deserves to be favored by 5.5 points in a divisional road game. I know it's the Panthers. I get it. But I also know I said I was going to stop believing in Bryce Young, but he's like Kyle Pitts to me. He just keeps pulling me back. He just threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Since when does he keep pulling you back?
Since right after he
just
threw
now.
For 300
That's not continuing to pull you back. He's pulling you back once.
Once for now. We'll see. But I'm riding with the Panthers to upset the Falcons here.
Okay, you go with that. So fantasy. Let me get my mind back on. Yes,
get
track
your mind back
on track. You've got Bijan. He should be started. Obviously, Panthers running backs, bench him. Tet McMillan. I feel like he should be started, and I suppose you have to trust Drake London, even though the targets and yards, they have not been there yet.
No.
The most interesting one is if you take a stab on Hunter Renfrow, who through 2 games has 15 targets and, of course, scored the 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got the Texans at the Jags. The Jags are 1.5-point favorites. Both of these teams are coming off of a loss where they lost towards the end of the game. Jags losing to the Bengals, Texans to the Bucks. For the Jags, Travis Etienne had another good game. He ran for 71 yards, adding a receiving touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. was targeted 12 times, but he only caught 4 for 49.
Ouch.
Very ouch. Third of the catch or of the throws he catches. This is a little concerning. And a guy we mentioned in the offseason, Diami Brown, had 5 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. Then the Texans, they targeted their stud Nico for 9 times. He caught 3 of those for 52 yards and the game's first touchdown. they seem to be improving, even though they're still 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
And that offensive line it's just bad. There's not much else to say about it. We talked about how we were worried about Stroud staying upright, and I mean, that still remains the case.
Yeah, no, it does. And because of that, I think I want to ride with the home team, the Jaguars. They've looked good this year, and I think that they'll plan to make Stroud uncomfortable in the pocket, though.
Mm-hmm.
If Nico can have a day like Jamar Chase had, then the Jaguars are going to be in for a long day. But yeah, I'm not going to back either of these teams. I just don't know how this one's going to go. Now, I did put down my bet for the Jaguars, but I actually like the over in this one. I think both teams can score some points. The defense is still figuring it out. So give me over 43.5 points.
All right. In fantasy, the sleeper to start here is a guy I already mentioned, De'Ami Brown. He has at least 50 yards each game so far. I think they're going to keep getting him the ball. He's had a run every game too. So I think it's obvious they want to keep him involved in this offense. And Nick Chubb, he already looks tired, so I would be nervous starting him if you have him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Moving on over to the late game window. This is an interesting one for your survivor pool, though it's a little bit risky. The Broncos hit the road to the Chargers. Chargers 2.5-point favorites. The Broncos are coming off a disheartening loss to the Colts, where they lost in the last seconds. We already talked about that. And they haven't looked as impressive as they were last year, at least not yet. And I don't know if it's going to get any easier against a team that they're playing defense really well. The Chargers are. Bo Nix threw for 206 yards and 3 touchdowns, though. None to Cortland Sutton, though. None to Cortland Sutton.
How many yards did you say?
206.
Okay, I thought you said like 300 and something. I was
No.
like, no, he didn't.
No, 206 and 3 touchdowns. Cortland Sutton's just not there yet. J.K. Dobbins ran the ball well. For the Chargers, their defense is swarming, even though Khalil Mack will be out with a dislocated elbow for at least 4 weeks, but only 4 weeks, not the season. He's tough as hell. Herbert looks good, though. I mean, he threw for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns to Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen on fire.
Yeah, it's the resurgence. You know, he didn't do it he did okay for the Bears, but he wasn't like this. It's like he's back to that top 12 wide receiver that he was with them 2 years ago. The Chargers won both of the games against the Broncos last year, and I think they're even better this year. So I'm riding with this home team. This should be around a 3.5-point spread because they're going to win by 3 or more. So 2.5 is easy for me.
This Chargers offense, it's hard to know who to start for the receivers, but I honestly think you can start all of them confidently in a PPR league.
Yeah.
Ladd had 9 points. Keenan Allen had 17. Quentin Johnston had 16. I'm not trusting their running backs, though. I'm leaving them on the bench. I'm also benching Cortland Sutton against this tough defense. He just hasn't stood out yet this year, and it's been Troy Franklin as the top guy with 9 targets last week. He caught 8 for 89 yards and the touchdown. I think he's the Bronco you need to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I did bench Omarion Hampton, the Chargers running back, so I'm glad you validated me there.
Validation.
Yeah, you validated me.
All right. Next up, we got Saints at the Seahawks. The Saints are hitting the road. The Seahawks, they're the 7-point home favorites. The Seahawks are coming off of that 31-17 win over the Steelers, where they scored 17 fourth quarter points. Sam Darnold, he looked consistent again, throwing for 295 yards and 2 touchdowns. We said not to panic on Kenneth Walker, and he ran for 105 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 8 catches for 103 yards, and Cooper Kupp was looking a little more like Cooper Kupp, catching 7 passes for 90 yards. The Saints, they hung in with the 49ers, but did lose 26-21. Spencer Rattler threw for 3 touchdowns, 1 apiece to Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, and Devon Vele. Alvin Kamara ran for 99 yards and had 21 receiving yards. This Saints team is 0-2, but they're showing the fight, though. Like, they're showing some fight.
Yeah, my dad asked me if I was surprised by Spencer Rattler, and I said yes and no. I mean, not a lot of people had high expectations for him, but he was a dog in college. So in that sense, I was not surprised. Hunter, this is a great one for a survivor pool because I don't think there's a doubt that it's not going to work out for the Saints. I mean, They hit the road. It's a long travel. The Seahawks looked good against the Steelers, and the defense has been impressive, despite Rattler looking better than most expected. Like I said, I'm riding with the Seahawks as the touchdown favorite here. I think they win by more than 7.
Nice. Juwan Johnson is getting targeted a lot and is a good option at tight end if you're hurting at that position. For the Seahawks, I think you can keep trusting Kenneth Walker, and I think you can start trusting Cooper Kupp. I want to start trusting Cooper Kupp. But let me just rephrase it. I want to start trusting Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold realized, he can be a safety blanket, and that isn't going to change.
Yeah, no, it seems like he finally figured it out.
Figure it out sooner would be nice.
Yep. And Hunter just saying, would you trust the Seahawks and Survivor? Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get this game out of the way. The Cowboys head to Chicago to take on the Bears. And they are, I guess the Bears are 1.5 point favorites to 1 point favorites. The Cowboys are 1 point favorites on some books, or 1 point dogs. I'm not sure I get it. This is all over the board, depending what book you look at. Cowboys coming off that overtime win against the Giants, 40-37. So maybe the books think like, well, they got that hangover from that big win and all that. I don't know. It's a game that Dak threw for 361 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lamb had 112 yards. Javonte Williams ran for 97 yards and an impressive 5.4 yards per carry. Jake Ferguson had 78 yards. George Pickens got involved, 68 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the Cowboys looked good. Now, I know they let Russ throw for 450 yards, but I don't think Caleb's going to do that, unfortunately. For the Bears, I don't know what there is to say after that 52-21 beatdown against the Lions. Caleb threw for 207 yards, 2 touchdowns. Swift ran for 63. Roma Dunze was the guy. I mean, he's Caleb's favorite target for the second week in a row.
I really wish I would have picked him up instead of DJ Moore.
Yeah, I tried to tell you.
You tried to tell me?
I don't think I ever told you that.
No, you didn't.
But that's what I did in most of my leagues. We're in a lot of leagues together, so I don't try to give you any
We
advice.
don't talk fantasy
No.
We can't. It's too, we get in fights.
Yeah. Rome did have 11 targets, 7 catches, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't get why the Bears are favored here. I'm on the Cowboys. They have had their issues, yes, but they haven't looked as bad as this Bears team. We start 0-3, and we're left wondering if we can turn it around after the first quarter of the season, I think. So give me the Cowboys to win if they're on them. Find them in a book where they're the dog.
All right. I think Pickens could have a good game here, though. Lamb will likely feast on the Bears too, but you're obviously starting Lamb. If you're questioning Pickens, I would throw him in, and I'd throw Javonte Williams in and Roma Dunze because he's proved he's a must start.
Yeah.
A lot of people are on the fence about DJ Moore, myself included, but I do think they've got to make a point on getting him more involved this week. I'm starting him, but just to be clear, if I don't have better options.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to word that there.
That makes sense. Shout out real quick to Stephen Grise, PPR DJ Moore. You just answered that one. Yeah, I think this is the week that if he's going to have a good week, it's going to be against his Cowboys defense. Waddle or Dobbs with Reed out. I think if it's between those two, I think you have to go with Waddle. And also, would you pick up Dobbs and drop Evan Engram? I also have Pitts and Fannin. Evan Engram has not proven to be the guy that I thought he was going to be. And I think that you can be confident starting Pitts or Harold Fannin. I spy on who you pick up. I saw you did pick up Fannin, I believe, in a league. So
I think that was a chopper.
Was it?
I was desperate grabbing. Well, because I missed waivers.
He's done better than Njoku so far, and I do think the Browns.
I also have Njoku.
The Browns.
I have them both in that league.
Well, they're going to do good against the Packers. So yeah, DJ Moore. I see switched a little bit. DJ Moore, Waddle, or Dobbs. I would go with DJ Moore, and you could pick up Dobbs and drop Evan Engram. You don't have to, because I would still go with DJ Moore, but that is an option. You agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Yeah. That you had already said start DJ Moore this week. So
panicking a little on my teams here. Just a second. I got players tonight.
You got players tonight.
I do. I got to make sure they're right. Sorry, continue.
Well, that was all I had.
Okay, sorry. All right. Well, next we've got the Cardinals at the 49ers. This is the last afternoon game before Sunday Night Football. Cardinals are at the 49ers. I think I already said that. Did I say Cardinals at 49ers?
Yeah.
Sorry. I am multitasking with my I will ignore Sleeper. Sleeper can just be put to the side. But 49ers are the 2.5-point favorites with this matchup. Despite the fact that they may be without Brock Purdy for the second week in a row, both of these teams, they're 2-0. So one of them is going to remain undefeated, obviously. And obviously one of them's getting their first loss.
Yeah.
We already talked about the 49ers and Cardinals both winning. But recapping some of the player stats, Mac Jones threw for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looked good. While CMC only ran for 55 yards, he did have 52 receiving yards and a touchdown. Jones' favorite target was Juwan Jennings, who had 5 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown on 10 targets. And looking at the Cardinals, they continue to struggle running the ball, with James Conner carrying the ball 11 times for only 34 yards. Kyler threw for 220 yards and a touchdown, his favorite target being Trey McBride, who had 6 targets on 78 yards. This is 1 week after looking like Kyler and Marvin Harrison were finally, I thought I was going to burst out in a cough there. Finally on the same page after, they were up and down last year. And then Harrison only has 2 catches for 27 yards.
Yeah.
It was frustrating.
Makes sense of it. For the best bet, I just can't get behind a Mac Jones-led 49ers team again to win 2 in a row. So if he is the starter and Brock Purdy is out, give me the Cardinals to make their 3rd win in a row against the 49ers. That's right. They won both games last week. Sorry, Nick.
I'm going to sit James Conner this week if I can and flex in Trey Benson due to his involvement in the passing game. I also think eventually he gets more involved in the running game. I'm going to keep starting Juwan Jennings. We had said at the beginning of the year, the biggest question was Juwan Jennings versus Ricky Pearsall. They've both been decent, but we're seeing that Jennings has been more productive.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Stephen, thanks for checking out the show.
Yeah,
I don't believe we've seen you in the chat, so welcome. Let's talk about Sunday Night Football, where the Chiefs are 6-point favorites as they hit the road to go take on the New York Football Giants. And the Chiefs, they're 0-2, of course, after losing to the Chargers and the Eagles. The Giants are 0-2 after losing to Washington and Dallas. This Chiefs team's really interesting. Last week against the Eagles, Mahomes threw for 187 yards. He had a touchdown and an interception, yet his defensive tackle gave Ertz shit for only throwing for 101. And he also led the team in rushing with 66. Hunt had 31. Pacheco had 22. They just can't seem to run the ball. The only reliable receiver was tight end Travis Kelce, who had 4 catches on 6 targets for 61 yards. So not a lot of positivity there. The Giants did have a lot of positivity, though, despite losing, including Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards. His top 2 receivers were Malik Neighbors, who had 9 catches for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Wan'Dale Robinson had 8 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown. That's video game numbers. And they also look like they're finally handing that backfield to Cam Skattebo, which we were waiting for. I know it's only week 2, but we were waiting for. He had 11 carries for 45 yards. This is a tough one betting-wise. My gut says that the Chiefs, in a big prove-it game, they come out and win by a lot, but road games are tricky, and this Giants defense should be able to take advantage of Mahomes' struggling offensive line. So the bet I'm locking in is Mahomes to go over 29.5 rushing yards, because the Giants defense, I think they're going to be able to get some pressure, and they're going to make him take off.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. For fantasy, aside from starting your studs, I think it's hard to trust any Chief right now outside of Mahomes. For the Giants, I think you're crazy if you're not starting Wan'Dale Robinson, who now has 14 catches on 18 targets for 197 yards, not 179. It's flipped. 197 yards, and then he had a touchdown, and that's through 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's great numbers for sure.
Mm-hmm. Going to Monday Night Football, we've got the Lions at the Ravens. This final game, the Lions are heading to Baltimore, and the Ravens are the 4.5-point favorites. Lions coming off of that big 52-21 win over the Bears. I really gonna have flashbacks going over these stats, but here we go. Where Goff threw for 334 yards and 5 touchdowns, mainly to 2 receivers, Amon-Ra, who had 9 catches for 115 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then you had Jameson Williams had 2 catches for 108 yards. and a touchdown. Then Gibbs added 94 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Monty had 57 yards and a touchdown. Like, can we just get the whole offense getting touchdowns on us? Because we sucked. It was horrible.
Pretty much.
It was painful. The Ravens had a somewhat disappointing day stat-wise, but they still won their game 41-17 against the Browns. They really didn't have to try hard and only ran for 45 yards total, which doesn't sound right. And that's as a team, with 23 yards from Derrick Henry, and Lamar only had to throw for 225 yards.
Yeah, it is weird. They had so many points, but so few stats. This game is easy to me. Take the Ravens and the points. This should be more than a 4.5-point spread. The Lions just looked good last week against a bad team. Baltimore is not a bad team. The last time these two played 2 years ago, Baltimore won 38-6. Goff threw 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Ravens didn't have a pissed off Derrick Henry then. He's fumbled in 2 straight games. He only had 23 yards last week, as you said. He's got to be sitting there pissed off. He's going to want to run the shit out of the ball. He's going to want to punish people.
Yeah, I don't have many comments for fantasy football here, except maybe trade Jameson Williams while he's got high value. I do think you could get something good for him right now.
Yeah.
Would you disagree with me?
No, I agree.
I don't know that you want. I'm not saying you should trade him, but you could get
if you get good value.
Yeah, trade him high.
Yeah.
For good value. He had a big day fantasy wise, but through 2 weeks only has 9 targets, where he had 6 catches for 131 yards and a touchdown. And I think Isaac Tesla will start getting more targets as the season goes on.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's our week 2 previews. I'm going to transition right into the bottle lock bets here, because we hit it last week. So our current value is $40.01 as we hit that 5-point teaser of the Rams, Cowboys, Bengals, Cardinals, Bucks. Now, I decided to do something a little bit interesting with the bottle lock bets today, or this week, I mean. We're leaving $10 to the side that we have, just in case things go awry this week. We got $10 left that we can either buy a $10 bottle of whiskey, which would be not a good idea, or we have to, make some other bets. Anyways, I have 3 for you. We got 3 bets this week because we got a little more money to play with. James Cook, longest rush over 14.5 yards. We already mentioned that one. $10 pays $23.40. Now I also have, I'm going to jump to the right if you're on YouTube and you can see this. Tucker Kraft over 50.5 receiving yards if he plays. Tony Pollard over 68.5 rushing yards. And Jaylen Warren over 18.5 receiving yards. $10 pays you $66.22. And then I got another teaser because I seem to do well with these teasers in the past. 6-point teaser, including the Bucks, Packers, Seahawks, Cowboys, Chiefs, and the Monday Night Football game over. And that's $10 will pay you $40.01. Just so you know what that looks like. It just means the Bucks need to win. Packers -1, Seahawks -1, Cowboys +8 against the Bears, Chiefs +1, and the Lions and the Ravens over 46 points. So should be obtainable.
Yes.
Now, speaking of obtainable and fantasy football and all that stuff, I got to let you know that Old Fashioned Football is proud to announce that this season's Listener League was brought to you by Keeper's Heart Whiskey. Keeper's Heart is the first of its kind blend that brings together the best of Irish and American whiskeys, creating smooth, rich flavor that's perfect for game day. Whether you're celebrating a win, processing a tough loss, or relaxing with friends, Keeper's Heart's the whiskey that keeps traditions alive. Find it at your local liquor store or just visit keepersheartwhiskey.com. They do ship to most states. Don't forget to sip responsibly. And for an update on the league.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And then there were 2.
There were 2.
Only 2 undefeated
I don't want to hear
teams.
this stat.
Pinky from Sports Nonsense and Whiskey and myself.
Yourself, which I have heard all day, people.
As I defeated Serial. Also, congrats to Cody, DGen Doc Sebastian. Make sure you check out his work at IDP Plus and all his injury updates. And Miranda for your win, as well as Channing getting his first win, as we said, in fantasy football, since it's his first league. Let's fucking go. But it is still anybody's game, of course, as we all fight our way towards that bottle of Keeper's Heart.
Just 2 weeks in, people. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. All right, Mir.
You
want to remind everybody what we're drinking today?
Yes, we are drinking. One moment. Give me a moment. So sorry. We're drinking Dead Guy Whiskey, which is made by Rogue Ales and Spirits, located in Newport, Oregon, on the coast. Their whiskey is made from their Rogue Dead Guy Ale spent beer grain, and then it's aged by the ocean in the salty air there on, they're in the, I don't know if you want to call it a bay or that's not a bay. It's like a
port.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, it's a port.
It's a port. Still not what I was thinking of, but maybe that's the right word.
Newport.
Well, I know it's new. Okay, I'm just done. We're done with this conversation. But the climate there, it's mild, it's consistent, and the ocean air and the pressure, like from storms, and it allows the whiskey to have a unique aging process. Their American single malt whiskey that we're drinking is a pot distilled whiskey made from 100% malted barley and pure Coast Range mountain water.
Yeah.
From grain selection, brewing, each wash to distilling, aging, and bottling, everything is done in-house in Newport, Oregon.
Yeah. Now, we went to the distillery.
We did.
When we were out in Oregon. I gotta show you real quick. The first thing we noticed was the bottles.
Of course.
If you're on YouTube, you can see these bottles. Look at that stopper at there that's got the little dead guy on there. The bottle's a nice shape. And then it's got the dead guy on the back as well, raised on the glass. So the bottles are very cool. In fact, just to jump ahead, I gave them a 5.
I would too. It's a neat bottle.
It's
for
a very cool bottle with the stopper. The tasting room we went to is very cool as well. I mean, you can see the port with all the ships. There's guys fishing. There's guys
harbor. I was thinking
harbor.
Sorry.
There's guys crabbing.
That's the word I was looking for.
Harbor.
I was trying to say like a harbor,
Yeah.
but port I guess works too. Anyway,
there's guys fishing. There's guys crabbing, and I don't mean bitching to each other. I mean catching crabs, and not the sexual kind. Just to clarify.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah,
Justin.
it's a neat thing to watch while you're sipping on some whiskey. And we did a flight there. The bartender was very nice, and
I often wonder how we look, because when we go to any distillery, or we've even I think about like when we were in Estes Park and we went to the bar at the I can't remember. My brain fog is really real for me right now. But the hotel where they filmed The Shining.
Yeah.
What is that called?
I don't remember.
The
off the top of
Stanley.
my head.
The Stanley Hotel. They have a bar there, and they have like the largest whiskey
Which they're
selection.
shutting down. It's becoming all privatized, and they will no longer have that bar.
For real?
From what I heard. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, when we go to places like that or a distillery, I come with my notebook and I've got my pen out, and we're sitting there and we're sniffing and we're tasting and we're writing notes down, and I'm sure we looked ridiculous.
We're big old nerds.
We definitely caught the bartender's attention, and he kept coming back over to us. Like, yeah, we are totally reviewing you right now in your whiskeys. But it was a good time.
It was a good time.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. There was a little mix up.
There was in the flight, and we, with our palates and our noses, like we weren't like,
because they have a stout finished whiskey and they have a cab finished whiskey,
which are very, like, in my opinion, identifiable.
Yeah.
And when we tried where the cab was supposed to be, I was like, I'm not getting any wine finish off of this.
And then for the stout one, it was like, this is wine.
This is the cab. You get that almost that dry mouth feeling that you get with some of those finishes.
Yeah.
And we realized, that we went back and we tried what was supposed to be the cab, and we're like, this is definitely the stout. And we were getting kind of more chocolatey, like, off of that.
Yeah.
It was really good. They do a lot of different finishes. They have a
lot of different
rum cask, which we got to try, and that was like drinking a tropical drink.
Yeah.
It was very good. I don't know if there's probably not pineapple hint to it, but it felt like I was drinking a pina colada, but it was whiskey. Yeah.
No, that was good. It was a fun place to go hang out. So if you get to check it out, if you're ever in Oregon along the coast, go check it out. We also ate at the restaurant. If you are a beer drinker, they do Dead Guy Ale. But yeah, the food was very good. It was just a fun atmosphere. You sit up on the upstairs of the brewery.
You can try all their beers at the.
Yeah.
Why did you say if you're a beer drinker, they do Dead Guy? What do you mean?
That's like their most popular.
Yes. Okay.
And like, a lot of people know that one.
A lot of people know Rogue beers.
Do they?
I
just
think
Dead
so.
Guy Ale.
Maybe I just I've seen it on shelves, like the Rogue, and I guess I don't know. Yeah,
mainly.
I'm not a beer drinker, but.
But no, they have really good food. You get to walk through the brewery to go upstairs to the restaurant. Just a fun place.
Yeah,
so go check it out if you're ever in Oregon. Let's go ahead and score this. We already gave the bottle a 5. What'd you think of it in the cocktail?
It made it very unique.
It was very different. I think I'm starting to like single malts in cocktails. It's just it changes it.
It does. It's not like we didn't do anything fancy with this old-fashioned recipe like normal. We keep it simple, and it makes you feel like you did something different with it.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. So, do you want to give your score first, or you want me to give my score? I don't want to mislead you. I've already written mine down.
I would give it a 4 because I really like it.
All right. I gave it a 3.2. I was a little harsher critic on it, but that's okay.
I like it though. Like it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about it neat.
If I can smell.
If you can smell. You do have notes from when we were at the place, though.
I don't like my notes.
Well, we hadn't eaten anything.
We came right from coffee.
Yeah.
Which I think was our mistake. Like, we had just, drank coffee, and then we go in, and we went back to this one, because we almost weren't going to buy this bottle.
Right.
We went back to it, and we got completely different notes on the palate, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
Yeah.
First taste... After having coffee, you really just shouldn't. You should have some water, eat some crackers. I don't know. Do something, but don't go right from coffee to whiskey.
Right. Well, while you're smelling, I'm going to answer a question real quick by Kurash Sarai. I hope I said your name correctly. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Trade Chase Brown and Emeka Egbuka for Bucky Irving. I would not. I think Chase Brown is still going to have decent value. I think Egbuka is an emerging guy for that offense. You do have Tyreek, Odunze, MHJ, Keenan Allen, and Kyron, so you have good depth.
Yeah, I like it.
But I would keep Chase Brown and Egbuka. If you're going to package them together, I think I would shoot higher than Bucky Irving. I mean, I like Bucky Irving, but I would. But
you can
higher.
Get better value for that trade.
Yeah, yep, absolutely agree. Thank you for checking us out. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll be answering questions all season, so if you have more that pop up, let us know. Right now, we're on the whiskey portion of our show and drinking a little whiskey and reviewing Dead Guy whiskey. The smell of single malts are always different. They're
this is
light.
Very peaty.
It's peaty and light and pot stilled. You can a pot still lighter whiskey always has a distinct smell, so you almost get a little bit of that Irish vibe off of it. I feel like.
Oh, Scotch.
I do.
Scotchy vibe.
Scotch. It's fruitier than Scotch.
Yeah, I guess it is. But it's very peaty. It's very like an earthy, peaty.
Yeah.
On the nose.
Yeah. But it's pleasant though.
Yeah. Peaty isn't unpleasant.
No, yeah, no, I know. What would you score it? And cheers to you as well.
Yeah, cheers.
What would you score it on the nose? For me, it's kind of right down the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
It's
not the best thing I've ever smelled as far as whiskey. It's not the worst though.
It tastes better than it smells. And so I think if you were just going off a smell, it might deter you from thinking it's really, really good. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's not, it doesn't smell horrible, but it's very strong peaty. You almost get like this undertone of something sweet, but it like goes away right away. Yeah. And so like it makes you think like, what am I smelling?
Yeah. I like the earthy, that's a good way to explain it, because there is almost a sweetness.
But it fades so fast because the peat it's like there's something sweet and the peat comes right over the top.
By the way, if you had Ollie Gordon as the first touchdown, the Miami Dolphins backup running back, cheers to you, because that just hit. I don't think a lot of people probably had that one. A lot of people probably, I know when I placed my first touchdown bets, there were no Dolphins involved. It was Dalton Kincaid and James Cook. Anyways.
So you lost.
I lost those ones.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that.
One was a no sweat bet, if that makes you feel any better.
It doesn't make me feel better.
So are you doing a 3 on the nose as I am? Right in the middle?
Sorry about that. I have to be so annoying. I know I should be. Why are you having me on this show right now? I'm a mess over here.
Let's do our taste score, and then we can get everybody on out of here to watch the game.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I tasted it, and I tasted coffee for some reason. I think it's because I was thinking about coffee.
No, it's really good. I don't know how to describe it.
It's light.
Mm-hmm.
I
will tell you,
a little bit of
I have
spice.
to share the notes because it doesn't taste like this. It does. It has a little bit of spice. It has a little bit of sugar.
Oh, I know what I'm getting, and I don't know if I got it before, but cocoa.
Cocoa chocolate?
Yeah, like a dark chocolate, like a 85% cocoa dark chocolate. I'm getting a little bit of that.
But it's sweet.
I
It's a
know.
little sweet.
Yeah, but it's a dark cocoa. Try it again. Think of dark cocoa,
and then you're going to just taste what I taste.
Well, share what you were going to share. She's getting the cocoa now. She's like, "Damn it, Justin, he's right." I don't want to say he's right, but he's right.
No, there's like something.
It's floral.
A little and sweet and spicy.
There's pot still spices type of thing going on for sure.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know.
There's some cocoa.
Let me tell you what we got, and we both agreed when we tried it right after having coffee.
Yeah, which is of course different than trying it at the end of the day.
And I had just you had an Americano. I had just milk and espresso.
As one does.
And Coke.
I remember that now. And then that's
like
all
it tastes like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, not cocaine, just to clarify. I remember you saying that now.
Yeah, and like it's like, what are we tasting?
Damn it! Now I'm getting it again, even though I didn't taste it again.
No,
yeah, the vanilla.
It's vanilla. That's what there's like a sweet vanilla, like a sugary vanilla.
Now that you say that, all I taste is like a flat Coke, but in a pleasant way.
No, but you don't. That's not really. That doesn't seem appealing. But that's like what it reminded us of. But then we went back to it, and this tastes better than when we first tried it.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't a big fan. I was like, I don't like pop. I don't like Coke.
Mm-hmm. No, I like this. You get the vanilla, you get the sweeter parts of it. I'm still sticking to there's some floralness and some cocoa in there. That's just what I
can see the cocoa a little bit, but
can you taste
it? Yes, that's what that means. What's wrong with you? Don't ask me too many questions right now because I can't. I don't have the capacity. But it's good. What are you giving it on the?
I'm gonna give it a 3.2.
I was gonna say 3.5.
All right. Well, that's pretty close.
But yeah, I think this is more of a. It's really good, but I think it enhances cocktails more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. As I go through puberty there. Yeah. Just got that excited about it. No, I think it is a good cocktail enhancer. It's good
I could drink it neat though too.
Yeah,
let's be
absolutely.
honest.
You got to like single malts, of course. It's not a bourbon. It's going to be a way different taste than a bourbon or
it was
rye.
Warming. This is a very warming whiskey.
Yeah.
What was the proof? I don't think I covered that.
80 proof. It's just an 80 proof. But yeah, it is good. The rich taste Dead Guy is known for, it says. We got to get on out of here because in 30 minutes, join me on the CFL Gambling Podcast with Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase, aka the Pick Dundee, aka he's got a long list of nicknames. I'm just no turn JMark.
Does he give them to himself?
Probably. Probably.
Sorry, Colby.
Sitting there at night thinking of
sorry, Colby.
This is a good one. I'm going to tell him you said that too. Give us a follow, please. Subscribe, like, thumbs up the video, all that stuff. Share with your friends. That helps a lot. There's merch, of course, on SGPN. So go check out the merch. And I think that's all I have to add. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, we're good.
Good luck in your week 3 fantasy football matchups. Good luck in your week 3 bets. Let's cash the bottle lock bets to get a better bottle. I'm excited for that. And my old fashioned is gone and I'm working on my taster here. So going once, going twice.
Sold.